Okay, so we are now recording. So just go ahead and get comfortable in your seat. Maybe placing your hands on your thighs and closing your eyes. Just taking a deep breath in and the exhalation. And then we'll go ahead and turn our head to the left and exhale twice. And bring our head back to the center. We'll focus our attention on the sun center and begin to watch our breath. As you begin to notice your breath, see if it's in a calm space today, if it's even, or if it's choppy and disturbed. And during our meditation, we'll have the opportunity to bring that breath into a place of calm, surrender. And that will help to stabilize the mind and calm the mind, entering into a deeper place. So on the next inhalation, take the energy from the limbs of your body to the trunk of your body and draw that energy up the spinal column. Feeling it traveling through the heart chakra and up to the sun center. Direct that energy out in front of you as a golden ball of light. Take that golden ball of light and send it around you to the left, to the right, to the back, and to the front. Just circling that golden ball of light all around you until you're sitting in a golden ball of light. Draw another deep breath in from the bottom of your belly. Feel it expand through your ribs, into your lungs and your heart center, and send that breath out into the universe. And on the next inhalation, I want you to picture yourself by the side of a river. It's a beautiful sunny day and the river is calm. It's warm and it's so inviting that you can't resist walking into the river. You walk deeper and deeper until your body is fully immersed in the water. And then you lay down and float on your back. There's a gentle current that's pulling you down the river. But there's nothing for you to do, nowhere for you to go. All you have to do is to surrender to the beauty of the sun and the warmth of the river. And just let it carry you, supporting you, and carrying you downstream. And with the gentle support of your breath, you rise up from the river, returning to your home, returning to the space, arriving on your mat. And from this place of arrival, you'll go ahead and keep your eyes closed, but gently draw those arms high above your head, bringing your palms to touch, and then drawing them down to your heart center. Taking a deep breath in and sighing everything out. And from this place of calm and peace and stillness, begin our asana practice. By first taking our left foot in front of the right foot and turning that other leg back behind you so that your foot is gently touching your thigh and the other leg is behind you. From this place, we'll go ahead and take a deep breath, raising our arms above our heads, palms to touch. And then we'll twist over that leg, dropping our belly gently towards the leg as we bow and surrender. Bringing our head closer to the floor if that's available, relaxing your neck. You can begin to add your Ujjayi breath by drawing in deeply through your nose and exhaling it out through the back of your throat, closing off the back of the throat, making that oceanic breath sound. From here, we'll gently press back up into those hands. We'll walk over to the center and fold down over our legs toward the front. Trying to keep the sitting bones grounded, lengthening and stretching out the arms, relaxing the neck. Feeling that deep space of surrender as you draw in your breath and exhale it out. Walking our hands back up to the top on the next inhalation. We'll then turn over the opposite leg and stretch our bellies over that leg, folding forward. This may feel a little bit more awkward, so you may not be able to go as deep. You may feel a nice side body stretch. Adding your breath here. And we'll gently walk back to the top. And this time, we'll place our hands behind us and begin to walk them further behind us. Maybe just keeping yourself raised here on your hands, or if you can lower yourself down a little further, you can go ahead and do that, and maybe you'll land on your elbows. If you feel any pulling in your back, Go ahead, back up to the tops of your hands. And if you need an even further stretch, you might find that you can lay yourself all the way down to the floor, stretching out the top of the quadriceps, opening that hip, taking a deep breath in here, and on the exhalation, just picturing yourself floating down that river. On the next inhalation, we'll go ahead and rise back up from wherever we are, gently walking those hands back up, pressing into those elbows. And we'll switch our legs on over to the other side. So the opposite foot will now be touching that inner thigh, and your other leg will be directly behind you. Your sitting bones will be right there, grounded into the floor. And we'll go ahead and take a deep breath in, and then first stretch over that leg that's bent in front of us. Walking our hands out as we place our chest towards our thigh, maybe bringing that head closer to the ground. You'll probably find that this part of the stretch is the easiest part. The other angles are a little more challenging. On the next breath, go ahead and walk those hands back up to top, turning toward the center. We'll inhale our hands over our head and then gently fold down forward over our legs. Maybe walking those hands out a little bit further, bending that head towards the floor, keeping the sitting bones grounded. Adding your Ujjayi breath. On the next inhalation, go ahead and walk those hands back up to the top of your mat. And then we'll twist over to the other side, inhaling those arms up, and then leaning over that opposite leg, placing our hands on the floor if that's available. This side is a little bit more awkward, so you won't be able to go as deep. Adding your Ujjayi breath. You can sigh it out as loud as you want. Nobody will hear you. Really getting deeper into that breath. We'll go ahead and send our hands back to top. And then on that same angle, send them behind us as we gently push ourselves down onto our elbows. Or possibly laying all the way down onto the floor. Each side may be different. You may need to stay on your elbows or your hands on this side. Or you may be able to lower yourself all the way down. Feeling that deep hip stretch. Feeling the stretch in the top of the quadriceps. Again, on the next breath, you'll just picture yourself floating down the river, nothing to do, nowhere to go, deeply surrendering to yourself, to life, and to the present moment. On the next inhalation, you'll go ahead and begin pressing yourself back up onto those elbows, onto those hands. And then we'll go ahead and take our legs out into a wide forward fold. And this can be any length. You can have your legs close together, further apart, whatever is comfortable for you. Shifting that pelvis slightly forward to make sure that you're on your sitting bones. Checking your alignment to make sure that your toes are pointed up toward the ceiling and that they're flexed and stretching out those toes so that you can feel the muscles hugging to the bones. We'll go ahead and draw those arms up overhead and fold over down toward the floor using a flat back. Once you've arrived here at the floor, you may want to walk your hands out a little bit further if you haven't yet reached your edge. Just find a spot that's comfortable for you and make sure that your legs and toes are still pointing up toward the ceiling and that your sitting bones are still grounded on the floor. Go ahead and take a moment to relax that neck. Adding your Ujjayi breath. We'll walk our hands back up to center. And then choosing your side, right or left, whatever side you like to begin with, go ahead and twist over to that leg. I'm choosing left today to be a little different. And then gently fold over that left leg, walking your hands down, belly toward the chest, maybe placing your elbows on the floor. Maybe your head touches your knee, maybe it doesn't, maybe it just hovers above. Making that neck long and relaxed. Feet are still flexed and dynamic. From here, you'll go ahead and walk those hands back over to the center, twisting over to your other side and drawing those hands down toward your calves, maybe reaching your foot or just placing them beside you on the mat as you pull your chest toward your thigh. On the next exhalation, breathing out anything that doesn't serve you as you surrender into the present moment. On the next inhalation, go ahead and press yourself back up to the center. We'll draw our legs together. And from this position, I'll turn to the side so you can see me a little differently. We'll go ahead and raise our right leg toward the sky, maybe keeping your hands behind you for support. You should be at about a 90-degree angle, and you can circle that ankle around, pointing and flexing the foot. And then we'll draw that leg down and lift the other leg, circling the ankle. Maybe circle it in one direction and then circle it in the other direction, placing it down next to you. From this position, we're going to go ahead and raise both feet into a boat pose. You can leave your hands behind you for extra support, or you can maybe grab your thighs, or possibly bring your arms out in front of you, whatever works best for you in your practice. And on the next exhalation, you may want to draw your legs up further if that's in your practice. Or you can just keep them here. Lots of options. You can send one leg down, the other leg down. So lots of different options for our boat pose. From here, we'll bring our legs down, cross them in front of us, and then go ahead onto your knees, landing in a tabletop position. From this neutral position, we'll spread the fingertips wide, press those palms into the earth, and make sure that our hips are over our thighs and that our shoulders are over our wrists. And we'll just go ahead and draw our right arm up to the sky and then thread it underneath the left arm, coming down onto our shoulder. Maybe stretching that left arm out in front of you, or possibly placing it on your back or taking a bind, reaching all the way around for your thigh. Adding your breath. We'll go ahead and take that hand, that left hand, wherever it is, push into our mats, and then draw that right arm back up to the ceiling, stretching open that heart. We'll set that hand down next to left, and this time do the other side by twisting over to the left, raising that arm up and then threading it under that right arm, landing on the ground, walking that arm out in front of us, or possibly taking that bind if you did that on the other side. Closing your eyes, adding your breath. Picturing that river just floating down the river in deep surrender to the present moment. Wherever that right arm is, go ahead and place it back next to your face and push yourself into the mat as you draw that left arm high towards the ceiling, opening up that heart, keeping those hips square, and then placing it down beside the other so that we're back in a tabletop position. We'll go ahead and press our toes into the ground, lift our buttocks toward the ceiling, and arrive in a downward facing dog. Just go ahead and pedal out your dog, bringing some movement in here. This is the first one, so it's kind of a warm-up. You may want to send your feet over towards the right side a little bit, over towards the left, moving those hips around. And then let's just settle together here in silence, gazing back towards your knees, or if it's in your practice, towards your belly button, engaging that Uddiyana Bandha, pulling up that stomach, those stomach muscles towards your back. Taking a deep breath here. And on the exhale, we'll send ourselves forward into our plank position. So from here, we'll just take a few breaths moving back and forth from plank to down dog. On the exhalation, you'll find yourself in down dog. On the inhalation, you'll move forward into plank. Exhaling, drawing deeply back. And inhaling as you move into your plank position. Take a few more of these on your own breath. And we'll all meet in a downward facing dog. From here, you might want to just take a little bit of a break if this is a lot for your wrists and shoulders, and press down into a child's pose, lowering that head to the floor, taking some of that pressure off. It's here that we can find ourselves once again in a deep surrender, surrendering to ourselves to what the universe is showing us comes next, the creativity that's arising out of this period of our lives. Being open to some new suggestions, being open to whatever is arising. On the next inhalation, we'll press ourselves back up through tabletop into a downward facing dog, drawing a deep breath in through the belly. We'll go ahead and raise that right leg toward the sky, and we'll begin to take that leg out to the side, circling it around, bringing it forward, making some nice hip circles here. We'll then switch direction, circling it in the other direction. And on the next inhalation, you'll go ahead and open that hip up, drawing the heel down toward your buttocks. And then we'll square ourselves back off to the center, and we'll bring that knee to our nose as we shift forward into plank. And then we'll send that right leg high into the sky. This time drawing that knee towards our right elbow, and then shifting back, sending the leg high into the sky. And then we'll bring that leg, thread it underneath the left arm, placing the foot on the floor as you open up toward this side. Your right leg will be in front, your left will be on the mat, and you'll be reaching high toward the ceiling. You can go ahead and bring those buttocks down to the floor on the inhalation. And then as you exhale, send yourself up to the earth, maybe reaching toward the back. Sending those buttocks toward the floor again. Taking another deep breath as you push back up. Sending that arm over your ear. And then placing that left hand next to right as we untwist. And place that right foot down so that we're back in downward facing dog. We'll go ahead and come down onto our knees and back into a child's pose. Just taking a few moments to regulate our breath and slow that breathing down. When your breath is feeling nice and even, go ahead and thrust yourself back up through tabletop into a downward facing dog. And we'll repeat the sequence on the other side. So this time you'll raise your left leg into the air and then draw it around toward the front, circling it up, over and down. And then switching directions, going out, up, and bringing it down. And on the next inhalation, you'll go ahead and turn that hip out, placing the heel toward the buttocks. And then squaring those hips off again, you'll draw your knee to your nose. Then you'll send that left leg back up to the sky. And draw the knee this time towards your left elbow. Sending the left leg back to the sky. This time you'll draw that knee through, placing the foot underneath, rolling over onto your left side so that you're reaching high with the left. The left foot is out in front of you and the right is on your mat. Then go ahead and lower those hips to the ground on the exhale. Coming back up, high towards the sky on the inhale, stretching, and back down on the exhale. One more time on the inhale, we'll come up, and then we'll go ahead and turn back over, untwisting ourselves, landing back into a plank position, lowering those knees to the ground, and pressing back into a child's pose. Again, here we'll just take a few moments to take a drink of water and begin to regulate our breath, evening out those in breaths and those out breaths. We'll all meet back in child's pose. From your child's pose, you'll go ahead and press back up into a downward facing dog. This time you'll walk your feet towards your hands, sending yourself into your first forward fold. Go ahead and maybe bend your right knee, bend your left knee. Maybe grab your elbows. Hang your head heavy, shaking it yes or no. From here, we'll go ahead and raise halfway up, either leaving your fingertips on the ground or maybe placing them on your shins, flattening your back. And then folding down again, rounding down as you root into the earth through your feet. We'll go ahead and we'll place those hands on the ground and send our right foot back into a high lunge. From this high lunge position, we'll move our right hand toward our left foot and open up to the side, twisting to the left. Maybe dipping your shoulder forward a little to create some space as you then bring that arm back, opening further up, maybe looking toward the ceiling. We'll go ahead and bring that arm down next to the leg. This time, turning our foot at a 45-degree angle. We'll go ahead and open up that right side toward the ceiling. It looks like our neighbors next door are nice enough to have some loud music for our practice. I don't know if you can hear that. From here, we'll go ahead and push ourselves up into a side angle pose. So our elbow can be on our knee here, with our right hand reaching toward the sky, pulling that tailbone down toward the ground and opening that left knee towards the pinky toe. If you want, you can go ahead and bring that into a bind by clasping your hands together and opening up your heart center. Or maybe you just want to leave your hand on your back. Whatever variation of side angle pose works for you. We'll then go ahead and raise up into Warrior Two. Again, tucking our tailbone in, expanding our rib cage, taking a deep breath in, rolling that knee back toward the pinky toe, and gazing over that left arm. Here we'll straighten that left leg as we gently exalt into an exalted triangle. Maybe leaving that left arm high towards the ceiling, or possibly bringing it closer to your ear. We'll then move ourselves from this position, sending our right hip back as we come into a triangle pose. You can look up at your right arm if that's comfortable for your neck. Or maybe switch and look down towards those left toes, tucking the tailbone under, breathing deeply into that rib cage. From here, we'll rise back up and send both feet forward. Bring our hands up so we're in a star position. From our star, we'll turn our feet out so that they're pointing toward the edges of our mat, and bend our legs, coming down into a goddess pose, bending our arms. On the next inhalation, we'll send ourselves back to star, and then exhale into goddess. Again, go ahead and inhale into star, and exhale into goddess. We'll take one more inhalation coming up, and another coming down. And we'll straighten ourselves back up to a neutral position, drawing those hands behind our back, taking a bind with our hands, turning our feet towards the front again. We'll fold down. You can leave those hands where they are or bring them over your head, stretching out your shoulders, shrugging them together, hanging that head heavy, just surrendering into this pose. Go ahead and lower those arms toward your back and send them down toward the floor. And walk them out in front of you for a wide-legged downward facing dog. drop your hands back in and place that left hand in the center between your feet as you raise that right arm up, twisting to the right side. Maybe lifting yourself a little further, tucking in as you open up even further. Go ahead and take that right arm down, placing it in the center, and moving that left arm up towards the sky. Again, bending a little forward so that you can create more space to open that chest up deeper, turning deeper into the twist, using the core to turn, and then sending that arm back down to meet the other. We'll then go ahead and fold over our legs, rock our head, relax our neck, shake it out. And from here, we'll go ahead and turn the right foot toward the front of the mat, angling that left foot at about 45 degrees. And bend our right leg and cartwheel ourselves up into a warrior on the other side. Drawing the tailbone down, we'll push that knee out toward your pinky toe. Engage those muscles in your arms. Looking out over that right hand. Take a deep breath in and then maybe sigh it out. On the next inhalation, go ahead and straighten that leg. As you exalt your triangle, drawing that right hand up, placing the left on the thigh, opening your heart even further up toward the ceiling, and maybe drawing that right hand over your ear. Then moving forward and pushing that left hip back. We'll go into triangle pose on the other side. Drawing that tailbone under. Reaching into our left hand. Maybe twisting that mat to the up or down. Have a very dynamic practice next door. From here, we'll go ahead and bend our knee so that we're in that side angle pose. From here, in our side angle, you can go ahead and lower the arm to your back, or possibly reach that right arm under the right leg and take that bind, shifting your chest toward the ceiling, maybe looking up. This time we'll unwind from wherever we are and place that hand next to the foot on the outside of the right foot. As we turn our body over, coming up into a high lunge, toes are lifted in the back. This time we'll place our right hand next to our left hand next to the right foot as we twist open toward the right. And on the next inhalation, you'll go ahead and send that right hand down to meet that foot and send your right foot back into a downward facing dog. This time we'll go ahead and walk our feet up towards our hands, bend over those legs in a forward fold. Give yourself some time here to relax your neck. Maybe check in with your alignment, see if your feet are rooted fully into the mat, and then roll all the way up with a Rounded back to the top. In our Tadasana pose, we'll go ahead and lift those toes up off the ground, shrug our shoulders back. So drawing our shoulder blades together. And then we'll send our arms up to the top, hands to touch. From here, we'll go ahead and begin to bend over toward the right side, palms pressing together, then lowering that right arm. On the inhalation, bringing that right arm up to touch the left, and then sending ourselves over to the left side, then lowering that left arm. We'll go ahead and raise that left arm, sending it to touch the hand, and we'll take a few more of these on our own breath, our own time. Just lowering and raising the arms, stretching out the side body. Just letting everything out. We'll send both arms back to the sky, hands to touch, and this time we'll bring those arms out to the side as we stretch our hearts open to the ceiling, maybe taking your head back slightly if it's comfortable for you, grounding into those feet, raising your toes, and then sending everything back up to top, hands to touch. We'll do this again, exhaling as we come down, a little mini arch in our upper back, and inhaling as we come up. Go ahead and do a few more of these on your own breath. Taking this time to really get into that Ujjayi breath, letting it all out. And then on the next inhalation, we'll all meet here back together, bringing hands to a prayer position. From this point, we'll go ahead and ground down into our left leg as we raise that right knee toward the front. Taking that right knee, we'll cross our right foot across that left knee. Maybe a micro bend in the left leg. Finding your drishti or your focal point. And then sitting back into a chair position. Taking a deep breath in. Sighing it out. And then keeping that chair position, go ahead and lower a little bit further as you drop that leg. And we'll send everything skyward and go up onto our tippy toes, raising high into the sky. And then letting everything settle and sink back down. This time we'll go ahead and take that left leg and cross the ankle across that right knee. Opening our leg out. Bending into a chair, rooting down through that right leg, finding your drishti, your focal point. On the next exhalation, maybe deepening that chair pose. When you're ready, you can bring that left down to meet the right, sinking further into chair. And then we'll rise back up to the top, up onto our tippy toes, stretching out long, widening those hands and fingertips, and then rooting back down into our feet. From this position, we'll go ahead and step our feet out, angling them out toward our mat as we bring our hands into a prayer position. From here, you'll bend your knees, going down into a yogi squat. This will be the exhalation. On the inhalation, you'll send everything back up to top. On the exhalation, coming back down. You can go as deep here as you wish, or as you're able. And go ahead and play with this, taking these on your own breath. As it gets challenging, just remind yourself that you're doing nothing but floating down that river, letting the current carry you wherever it may be. The next time you find yourself down in your yogi squat, you'll go ahead and stay there. This time opening up to the side, taking one arm high into the sky, reaching it toward the ceiling. You may want to place that arm on your back, or if it's in your practice, curl that other arm around your knee and take a bind. If you're in that bind, see if you can create a little bit more space by dipping forward and then raising that chest higher toward the ceiling. Letting everything go, coming back to neutral, prayer position. We'll go ahead and open those arms up on the other side, twisting gently. And then maybe taking that hand down to our back, or taking the full bind by drawing that right around the my right side, possibly your left, clasping our hands, breathing deeply, and then letting everything go, coming back into a neutral position. We'll go ahead and sit our buttocks down onto the ground as we stretch our legs out in front of us. Making sure that you've tilted your pelvis slightly forward so that you're on those sitting bones. Pointing those feet high to the sky. We'll take our arms overhead and then send ourselves down into a forward fold, folding wherever feels comfortable for you. Maybe just placing your hands next to you, grabbing onto your feet or your shins as you gently draw your chest towards your legs. On the next inhalation, we'll draw those arms up above us, and then we'll cross that right leg over the left, and possibly curling that left leg underneath us. You can go ahead and place your right hand behind you and take that left elbow across your knee, twisting over to the side. On the next inhalation, expand those ribs. And then twist a little deeper, looking over your shoulder on the exhalation. From here, you'll just go ahead and you'll untwist your arms, but stack those knees on top of each other for a cow face pose. So if you cannot do cow face, then you would just go ahead and leave your legs straight and your other leg crossed over in this direction. From our cow face pose, we'll go ahead and take our arms up and wrap our right arm under the left for an eagle arm wrap. And if you can't take the eagle arm wrap, you can go ahead and just lower both hands, giving yourself a hug here, just holding on to your shoulders. But if you like that eagle wrap, you can begin to fold forward from this place, grounding those sitting bones, keeping them on the mat. Just gently surrendering forward into life as it is right now. From here, we'll unwind everything and go ahead and windshield wiper those legs out from right to left. And then we'll go ahead and take another forward fold before going into a twist on our other side. So again, grounding those sitting bones, sitting up tall, drawing your shoulders back, reaching your arms up towards the sky, hitching at the hips, taking that flat back as you bend forward, belly towards your legs, grabbing your shins or your feet, or placing your arms alongside you. Take a moment here just to lengthen your breath. Check in with the breath to see if it's going too quickly, slowing it down. Then go ahead on the next inhalation and raise our arms above our heads, sending those arms back toward the ground. This time crossing that left over the right, maybe staying here or tucking that right foot underneath you. You'll take the right arm as reaching toward the sky. You'll take your left arm behind you and cross that other arm, linking it on your knee and twisting around, looking over that left shoulder. Again, the next exhalation, maybe twist a little bit deeper, moving through your core. See if there are any places where you're clenching, and go ahead and send your breath there, relaxing, maybe into that hip. And as you unwind your arms, you're going to go ahead and scoot that left leg on top of the right knee for cow face pose on the other side. This time you'll be, if you took that eagle wrap, you'll be wrapping your left arm under right. Or you can just give yourself a hug here as well. So if you're taking those eagle arms, we'll go ahead and send the body forward. Taking a deep inhalation into those lungs, spreading the rib points as we bend forward over our legs. Relaxing that neck. Breathing into those tight spots. Maybe you're feeling a little bit of a pulling sensation or a tugging. You can ease off if that's the case. Next inhalation will unwind everything. Sending our legs again into windshield wiper to stretch everything out. And then if you have some pillows or a bolster next to you, you're gonna wanna place pillows or a blanket or a bolster right on your mat in front of you. And then we'll go ahead and climb on over our pillows or blanket or bolster, whatever you're using, so that you're in a tabletop position, but your legs are a little bit wider over that bolster. From here, you're going to lower your groin onto the bolster, sending those legs out, turning the feet out so they're pointing in opposite directions. So you're in a modified frog pose. And then you're going to walk your hands forward and send your chest down, hugging that bolster. Placing your left or right cheek on the bolster. On the next inhalation, you may want to change to the other cheek so that both sides feel a stretch. Next inhalation, you'll go ahead and you'll push yourself back up, walking those hands along the side of the bolster, curling your toes under as you draw your knees towards each other back to that tabletop position. And you'll remove the bolster from your mat and lay down on your back. Once you're on your back, you'll give your knees a squeeze into your chest, and then maybe rock back and forth, gently massaging that lower back, possibly taking some circles in one direction and then the other. Then you'll reach both arms out besides the outsides of your legs as you grab for the outer edges of your feet. You'll lift those feet into the sky, legs bent, pulling the knees down toward the armpits into a happy baby pose. Maybe rocking side to side. Keeping that lower back on the floor. draw those knees back into your chest, giving yourself one last squeeze here. And you can go ahead and send your legs down to our final resting pose, Shavasana. Moving those legs toward the outer edges of your mat. Or maybe you want to take a butterfly Shavasana today. Taking one more breath here together and then sighing it out. In your Shavasana, you'll begin to feel everything growing heavy and sinking deeply into your mat. And here you can bring yourself back to that beginning of the class where you pictured yourself just lying on your back, floating down the river. Next inhalation, you'll begin to bring some awareness back into your body. Maybe wiggling those fingers and those toes, circling those wrists or ankles. Maybe drawing your arms up above your head, stretching out your legs, pointing your feet. And maybe hugging those legs into your chest one last time before you roll over into a fetal position. From your fetal position, you'll go ahead and push yourself back up to a seated position. You'll get comfortable in your seat. Go ahead and raise those arms over your head. Pushing those hands to a prayer position and bringing them down to your chest. We'll go ahead and take a few extra moments today just to sit together in meditation. Again, bringing ourselves back to the beginning of the class. And those thoughts on deep surrender to the present moment. Knowing that at any moment you can awaken and live in a space of joy and peace. We'll take some quiet moments together so that you can be with your own mind. As you go forward into your day, remembering that you can always come back to this place of calm and deep surrender, that you can always picture yourself floating down that river current on your back. There's nothing to do, nowhere to go. May you have many blessings on your journey. I wish you well. Namaste.